Welcome back, my friends and family. Good day to you, wherever you are. Now, this is a conclusion of the three-part series on Gaddafi: assassination or execution, the fall of Gaddafi. This is the West Best Media present Gaddafi, revolutionary, threats, or visionary. Before we continue, I'd like to ask you, please like, share, and subscribe. Okay, here we go. West Best. This is the West Best Media present. On October 2011, NATO jet screamed overhead of Libya. Rebel storms desire. A man once hailed across Africa as a visionary is dragged through the streets, through the dirt, beaten, shot. But was this justice, our Western back execution to silence a Pan African threat? This is the final chapter in our Gaddafi series: assassination or execution, the fall of Gaddafi. The Arab Spring started in Tunisia, then lit up in Egypt, then came to Libya. But unlike the others, Libya didn't fall quietly. In early 2011, anti-government protests erupted in Benghazi, fueled by a decade of resistance and tribal division and outside as agitation. Libya quickly plunged into a civilian conflict. Now, for years, Libya was a peaceful country. But Libya wasn't dictatorship crumbling from within. It was being torn apart from outside. For years, the West labeled Gaddafi as a dictator. Yet, Gaddafi was taking care of his people. Free house, free schools, and they weren't starving. People was living a good life. But the West wanted control of Libya for its oil. And for them to get control of Libya, they had to go through Gaddafi. So, in my opinion, they set up a false narrative. Gaddafi tried to mobilize his force to put down what he saw as a foreign-backed insurgent. But within weeks, international media start painting him and conflict as a one-side massacre. Now, remember, for years, there was no problem in Libya. Everybody was living peaceful. But the West created this scenario. They called for the regime change was already in motion. March 2011, the UN passed Resolution 1973 authorizing a no-fly zone to protect citizens. Here, the UN is authorizing a no-fly zone over an independent country. But the no-fly zone quickly turned into an all-out air war. France, UK, United States launched a massive bombing campaign against Gaddafi forces. NATO planes didn't just protect citizens, they destroyed airfields, tanks, roads, and even Gaddafi personal compound. This wasn't humanitarian aid. It was coordinated regime decapitation. Libyan government infrastructure was ripped apart. Rebel factions, many with whom with many with no ideological belongs, anti-Gaddafi, were armed, trained, and green-lighted to push forward. The world watched the destruction of a sovereign African state dressed up as a peace mission. October 20, 2011, Gaddafi convoyed attempt to escape his besieged hometown of Syria. NATO drones tracked him. A French jet bombed it. Gaddafi was wounded, but alive, hidden in a drain pipe. Rebel force captured him. Footage was shown how brutal it was. He was beaten, stabbed, mocked, then shot at close range. Now, how did they know that he was hiding in a drainage pipe? Because the US, France, and Britain, drones were tracking him. So they know where he went and they guide the rebel towards him. And while Gaddafi laid in a meat freezer, there was no trial, no international court, no truth conciliation, just chaos and death. The United States Secretary of State Hillary Clinton smiled and said, this infamous line, we came, we saw, he died. They told us Libya would be free. Instead, instead, Libya became a failed state. Rival militants carved up territories. ISIS opened training camps. Black Africans were sold in open-air slave market. Migrants drowned trying to flee. Before the war, Libya had one of Africa's highest human development index score. Let me say that again. Before the war, Libya had one of Africa's highest human index development score. Free healthcare, free education, and no foreign debts. After Gaddafi, there is no democracy, no unity, no plan. The West dropped bombs, dropped weapons, and disappeared. Yet they call that humanitarian aid. The gold denier theory that Gaddafi was pushing for Africa had to have one money, which would be called the golden era. That theory was lost. There's one theory that refused to die, though. Gaddafi was not killed for being brutal, he was killed for being bold. He proposed a gold back in African currency to replace the CFA and to challenge the US dollar in oil trades. Leak email from Hillary Clinton's server confirmed that the French intelligence feared Gaddafi gold reserve could disturb, disrupt the global monetary system. So ask yourself this: was this human rights, or was it about destroying the one African leader who dared to build an independent economic system? Gaddafi was no saint, but he was Africa, Africa's own. He fed his people. He armed African freedom fighters. He challenged the dollar, the IMF, and NATO, and he paid a price. His death was not the end of a tyranny. It was the beginning of a new kind of war, a war on sovereignty, a war on vision, a war on leaders who won't kneel. And now new leaders arise. New leaders are rising. Ibrahim Traore, Assini Gota, and Tichani of Niger. Will they survive what Gaddafi couldn't? Or are we watching the same movie on a new screen? Has this been the final episode of Africa trying to rise up? Or will Africa rise up? Will we, as Africans in Africa and the diaspora, protect our leaders this time? Will we stand up and say no more? There are signs that we may do that. The latest signs show when the United States of America General Michael Langley made a false statement about Ibrahim Traore. The backlash was immediate and it was worldwide. So there are signs that we will not stand for this anymore. They will not kill our leaders under false pretense. My people, my brothers and sisters, again, I plead to you, please like this channel, please share and subscribe. Help help us to build a channel that brings the truth, the facts about Africans and about African development and how we can change it. One vision, one goal, one Africa, I'm going to tell you this: look out. There's a new book on the horizon. It's called Africa Rising, Babylon Fall. It should be out soon. I'll keep you posted. But for now, my brothers and sisters, stay conscious, stay alert, and stay united. Let us unite for one cause: the development of Africa and African around the world. Peace and love. God bless.